Hello and welcome to the latest episode of It Stinks, the Critic podcast. Today we're covering Season 1, Episode 7, Every Doris Has Her Day. And joining me as we go through this episode is a good friend of mine, writer and comedian Chelsea Christian. Welcome, Chelsea.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, of course.
Got nothing else going on right now, so.
Yeah, I know, right? Nothing to do all day, but just podcast the day away. So that's what we're here doing. So yeah, I heard that you're a fan of The Critic.
I love this show, man. I watched it probably when I was way too young, looking at these dates, because I was 5 years old when this episode came out.
Oh my God, that makes me feel old because I was 9.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I caught this episode when it was on. There are definitely some lines and gags that I remember. And yeah, this is just a great episode. It's one of the only ones where we focus on Doris, who's...
Yeah, it's very character driven. It's a nice little change of pace.
That's true, yeah. It's there's not a ton of plot. We really just get to know Jay and Doris a lot better, and
yeah, it's not one of the funniest laugh out loud episodes, but it's very sweet in an uncharacteristically wholesome way. It almost feels more like an early episode of King of the Hill. It's a good episode. I like it. It's just
yeah, there's definitely a lot of very sweet moments that's kind of atypical for this show, but I'm glad they went there.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I just found out recently that the voice of Doris, the actress is named Doris Grau.
A legend.
And she is also the voice of Lunch Lady Doris on The Simpsons.
Yes.
Which I somehow never noticed until recently.
She's like Tony Danza. She's just got that one name and she sticks to it.
Yeah.
Wow, Tony Danza. Wow, that's a really relevant reference I went with.
I mean, we're covering a show that's been off the air for 15 years. I don't think
that's true. It does open with a Howard Stern joke, so.
That is true. So yeah, let's get into the episode. I'm just going to give the synopsis real quick here.
Mm-hmm.
Jay befriends and accidentally dates an older woman, makeup artist Doris, only to suspect that she might be his biological mother. And yeah, the episode does open with a Howard Stern reference. Instead of the movie Howard's End, we get Howard Stern's End.
I do so love this cottage. I should like to live at Howard's End forever.
You mean Howard Stern's End? I just bought the deed. What do you think of that? Any of you girls want to take your tops off?
Oh, I say.
You say, but you never do. You never put out. You're like my wife.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he just pops up over the windowsill like a cartoon wolf sniffing out a hot pie. It's weird because I hadn't seen Howard's End, but I'd heard of it. So I wasn't really sure where the joke was going to go. But then I was kind of glad they went with something mildly accessible.
Yeah, I think once Howard Stern shows up, you kind of know what he's going to do.
It's weird because I was kind of right on the borderline of too young to watch any of Howard Stern's stuff, but old enough to see references to him in media and cartoons and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird. Everything I know about Howard Stern, I've basically picked up through cultural osmosis at this point. I don't think I've seen more than 10 minutes of him actually interviewing anyone. But as soon as I saw him appear, I was like, oh, okay, he's going to ask for titties or something.
Oh, man. When I was in, I want to say 7th grade, I did a carpool to school in the morning. And one of my carpool mates' dads, who drove a couple times a week, always listened to Howard Stern.
Oh God!
So I listened to more Howard Stern as a child than probably most people.
We were a Bob and Tom family. Always.
What's Bob and what is that?
That was the Midwestern radio show. It was two dads. One was named Bob and one was named Tom, and they had they would have comedians come in, or they'd do wacky song parodies.
See, they're kind of bucking the trend, because isn't it supposed to be one normal name and then
Yeah, it's just two the most generic dad names possible.
Yeah. Oh, but growing up here in LA, I mostly listened to Kevin and Bean, which unfortunately they just ended the show. They were another casualty of COVID-19. I know.
Yeah, they were icons.
Yeah, absolutely. Even after, I think it was Kevin moved to Washington and did the show via satellite. Kind of crazy, but if you listen to it, you don't even notice. It sounds like he's right there in the studio.
Yeah, it's just effortless. It's, true talent there.
Oh yeah. So so moving on, right after this Howard Stern's end, we see Jay is interviewing the kind of old British actor from the film,
Sir Roger Twice Knightley. That was incredible. I had to write it down.
Yes, great name.
It's like a Toast of London name. It's incredible.
Yeah, and then we get Jay says that next they're gonna look at the director's cut of JFK.
Back and to the left. 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 Back and to the left.
Oh my God! Yes, this joke. Oh my gosh.
This is one of those jokes that I think endured, and it's definitely one that I always remembered. And it's one of those we're just gonna repeat the joke so many times that it stops being funny, then becomes funny again.
Oh, that's the best. And it's always bouncing around in my head. It's like a song that just gets stuck in your head after a while. Just every couple of years, I'll just hear that Kevin Costner impression in the back of my head. It's legendary.
To the left.
Back. To the left.
Yeah. So then Roger Twice Knightley basically gives Jay 2 tickets to the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Hunch, based on the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I don't know, whatever.
I feel like if you just alternate the way you pronounce it each time, you're right half the time. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Now this episode came out 2 years before the Disney movie. They predicted it.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure I remember them predicting something else later on down the road. Later on in this episode. Oh, no, wait. I think there is.
Well, there is an episode where Duke runs for president, which you can kind of maybe take as a predicting Trump, maybe a little bit.
President Duke Phillips sounds like a utopia at this point.
Oh my God, I would love to live under President Duke. Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, and Vice President Sherman.
Imagine how good TV would be.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah. So when Sir Roger Twice Knightley is trying to give these tickets to Jay, we get another awesome gag where Jay basically does his imaginary secretary, Ethel.
Oh, Ethel, am I free for the theater this evening?
You certainly are. Why don't you take Miss Sharon Stone? She's sweet on you, boss.
Really? Sharon Stone?
You heard me. Sharon Stone.
Ethel, I love her. She sounds like every high society lady in every Three Stooges short.
Oh,
who hires some nice boys to do some painting and then,
ends up with a pie in the face somehow.
Always a pie in the face.
Yeah, so Ethel also showed up in the episode where Margot goes to the debutante ball. I don't know if Ethel shows up again after this.
Oh, well, she fell out a window in this episode, according to Jay, so canonically, right. I think she might be written off. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully she recovers from her broken leg or whatever. And
thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. So then Jay is faced with the dilemma of who he's going to take to this musical.
Oh, yeah.
We get kind of this montage of him looking for a date.
Oh, yeah. It includes one of my favorite jokes. Every dumb cartoon does it. I laugh every time. Somebody's sitting in a bubbling hot tub, and then somebody reveals the jacuzzi's not plugged in.
Anyone care to join me for a night at the theater?
Wait a minute. That hot tub's not plugged in.
Excuse me.
Yeah. It's so cheap, but I laugh every time.
God, I remember that's also in Ali G Into House.
Oh man, maybe it doesn't work every time then, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. But we also get, he calls up a girl that he went on a date with who has just been showering nonstop since they went out.
I'm sorry, Jay. Helen's in the shower right now.
Still, it's been 3 days since we went out.
Still not clean. Must scrub harder. Ugh, unclean. Unclean.
Oh yeah. She's doing the whole forever unclean routine.
Yeah.
Been there, lady.
Yeah. Oh, man. But eventually, Jay ends up asking Doris, the makeup lady, or kind of she asks him, actually, because she wants to see this musical.
Yeah.
We get this great line.
Me go out with you? You're old enough to be my mother.
So you're fat enough to be my car.
Oh yeah, and she's like, "You're fat enough to be my car."
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. But
ouch.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they kind of jab at each other. That's kind of what they do throughout the show and even throughout this episode. But
it's very vaudeville. Like a lot of their like interactions. Like I wrote down one of their back and forths later on. Doris is like,
After 45 years in the makeup business, you learn a few secrets. Tricks with hair, teeth.
Like?
Always wear hair, always wear teeth.
it's like, you can kind of see it coming from a mile away, but it's still it's very satisfying. It's a comfort watch, I guess.
yeah, and I think probably a lot of the writers have they have an appreciation for that old style of comedy. And so they make it to the musical Hunch, and we get they spend a lot of time at this musical. We get 3 whole musical numbers.
Yeah, it turns into like Mystery Science Theater 3000 for a bit.
Oh yeah.
They're just kind of riffing on it.
Yeah, Doris and Jay are kind of like the Statler and Waldorf of the play.
I shaved for this?
I mean, Hunch sounds like a banger, honestly. There's some good catchy rhymes there. I think this could have caught on in real life.
Oh yeah,
it should have been what Tom Hooper adapted instead of Cats. We've seen Cats. We need a full-length Hunch.
No, I disagree. I'm glad we got Cats. Are you kidding?
Oh God, we deserved Cats.
You've seen it, I assume?
Oh goodness, not yet, but one of these days. There's not enough weed in the world.
Well, I saw it sober, and
oh my Lord.
I survived, but barely.
Oh my goodness, sounds like a ride.
Oh yeah, and I believe this was before they did the quote unquote patch, because I definitely saw Judi Dench's wedding ring on her finger, and just there are so many spots where the cats look like they're just kind of floating just above the ground. It doesn't look like they're actually making contact with it.
I mean, cats in real life kind of do that, though. Cats defy gravity.
I guess that's true, but it's so much worse when it's a half person, half cat.
That's true. Yeah, when it's James Corden levitating 5 feet off the ground.
I can't believe they filmed that without motion capture suits. That's insane.
I was shocked. That seemed like it would be the easier way to go, both for the performers and for the production staff. But
oh yeah, for all those poor VFX artists.
Yeah, that then immediately got fired.
Yeah,
how it goes.
I've heard different things about how Tom Hooper is just bad at making movie musicals. When he did Les Mis, all the actors sang on set, and that was the audio they used.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of liked Les Mis, but I definitely see why people wouldn't.
I did not see that version.
I mean, people hate on Russell Crowe's performance because he definitely sounds like Russell Crowe the whole time. But you know what? He's very committed.
Yeah.
It is a very committed, excellent performance. I genuinely enjoyed it. Enjoyed at least his performance in that movie.
Okay. I'm actually a big fan of the non-musical film version with Liam Neeson as Valjean. I think that one's great.
Oh man, I've got that on DVD somewhere.
Oh.
Liam Neeson is Jean Valjean.
Oh yeah, check it out.
Sounds intense.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit actually about the musical in this episode, Hunch.
Yes.
Alf Clausen, who also does the music for The Simpsons, just going overboard on this.
I love it. Like so many of these like animated sitcoms, cartoons from around this time period, loved ripping on Broadway pageantry.
Yeah.
And oh man, like even whenever I don't get the references, it's still, it's fun to watch. It works every time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great lyrics in some of the songs. Like I remember in the closing number.
So if you see a hunchback, why not take him out to lunch, Jack? To say, hey, thanks a bunch, man. Thank you for being a hunch.
This performance was sponsored by Toyota, the hatchback fit for a hunchback.
They say, if you see a hunchback, why not take him out to
Take him out
lunch,
for
Jack?
lunch, Jack. Brilliant.
Oh, man.
And they didn't even have like rhymezone.com back in the day for this. They had to do this old-fashioned way. My goodness.
Yeah, the mind boggles.
Man.
Though in addition to the music, there's a ton of great like sight gags during this musical, like when the Hunch and Esmeralda go on a picnic. The hunchback just kind of pops open his hunch like it's a trunk and pulls out like a giant baguette and a lit candelabra. Like those candles are lit when he pulls them out, which is kind of amazing. And a beach ball.
Yeah. And then at the end, like for the curtain call, they like pop him open like a piñata.
Yes. Although what pops out? Because it didn't look like candy.
Yeah, I feel like it was like jewels and stuff. I have to go back and rewatch it.
I guess were they trying to be period appropriate or something? It's weird.
It might have been, maybe it was a reference to something in the original book.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm going to have to do research to understand this joke from the critic.
Though, if any listeners want to mail in and let me
know
how wrong I am, it stinkspod@gmail.com. Yeah, so after the musical, Jay, like this little kid runs up to Jay and...
I just want to say that you've taught me that someone can be ugly on the outside, but beautiful on the inside.
I'm not the Hunch.
I know.
It's great. Like, oh man, I don't think we were in the same class at the PAC, but I know we both took sketch classes there.
Mm-hmm.
And they would always tell us whenever we tried to write dialogue to try to do like 3 line chunks where you have like establishing line, a setup, and then the actual punchline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the best way to describe it, but just basically every line of dialogue in the show is just so concise and perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is either leading up to a joke or establishing some sort of plot point or characteristic that's going to play off later.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's amazing how many jokes per minute you get on this show. It's really something.
Yeah.
And also, like it's like set up, punchline. Like that's why a lot of like newspaper comics are typically only 3 panels. So you get that same pattern.
Yeah.
And that also follows the rule of 3, which we see everywhere.
It's a good rule. Good rule.
Yeah, so Jay and Doris basically continue their night out. Jay ends up back at Doris's apartment, which...
Oh, yeah, it's the biggest perfect old lady apartment. It's got like the yellow striped wallpaper. She's got some line where she's like, make sure you sit on the plastic or you won't get any ribbon candy.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's every grandma.
Oh, yeah.
Condensed into one line. I love it.
And she also mentions her apartment, like basically the reason she can afford it is because it was like rent controlled from...
Insanely rent controlled.
Yeah.
I think she said $100 a month.
Jesus. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
One can only dream.
Oh, man. Do you ever divide your rent by the amount of days in the month and then just get like really depressed?
Oh God, no, I haven't done that.
Because then like if you have a day where you don't get anything done and you just kind of sat in your apartment all day, you're like, well, I just paid however many dollars to exist.
Yeah, well, my apartment had a really reasonable rate when I moved in, to the point where I basically couldn't say no, and now I've been here 7 years, so
nice.
That rent is no longer reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at Doris's apartment.
Oh, he just immediately passes out, I think, like right on the couch.
Doris tries to like reminisce or like talk about her life, and then Jay is just asleep immediately.
Yeah.
But Doris covers him in a blanket because she's nice.
Tucks him in. Oh yeah, and then he wakes up on a stranger's couch the next morning.
Yeah.
He finds her nightie, and he's excited. And then
yeah, it's like he basically went to bed sober, but it's like he had a wild drunken night and can't remember what he did.
Another satisfied customer. But just who was the lucky guest star on last night's Love Jay Sherman Style?
Yeah, he's like, well, I assume I must have gotten drunk last night.
And then we don't see, but we hear Doris in the shower singing like a virgin.
Like a virgin, he touched for the very first time. Like a virgin, when your heart beats next to mine.
Hachi machi.
Oh my gosh, this goes on. I timed it. It only goes on for 10 seconds, but it feels like she sings the whole song.
Oh God. Yeah, so then I guess we immediately cut to back at the show. Jay still thinks they might have slept together.
Oh yeah, and she's not helping because she walks up with one of his like giant, like novelty-sized pair of. Was this one of his branded pairs of underwear? Because I know he was always wearing like boxer shorts with movie phrases on them.
Yeah, that's basically a running gag that he gets tons of like free clothing from movies. And yes, in this episode, he's wearing Shaft boxers. Underwear from the movie Shaft. That's yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. But no, Doris lets him know they didn't actually sleep together. So, but Jay says he still had a good time. So maybe they want to go out again as friends.
And then it's just like a montage of them hanging out for the next couple of minutes. Like there's some extended scenes where they're hanging out at a crowded park with other people. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Exactly. Yeah, I remember being able to go outside.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like riding bicycles and singing the song from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Well, it's existed before that movie, but yeah.
It's the Critic. I have to go for the movie reference.
That's true. Yeah, they always go for the movie reference. Well, speaking of movie references, there's also a reference to The Birds when basically a huge flock of vultures.
You said bird and my dog immediately started growling. Good boy, Justin boy.
Aw. Oh yeah, everyone should follow Chelsea's dog on Instagram.
Yes, at Lockjaw the dog.
Yeah.
He is named after Lockjaw from Marvel and also Jaws, the James Bond baddie.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
And yeah, if you actually see what he looks like, you also understand why he has that name.
He's got an underbite. He's beautiful.
Yes.
So yeah, they're hanging out at the park. They go to a Punch and Judy show at one point.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like, my God, what is the like? I feel like the writers had a contest to see who could reference the oldest cultural like performance touchstone.
Yeah, and Jay can't help himself but criticize the show.
Characters are wooden, and the plot is just an excuse for violence.
You want your money back?
Yeah, let me have it. I said, let me have it.
Like Jay's gonna do what he does.
He gets punched in the face by a puppet.
Yep, classic.
We've all been there.
Though they also they go see Holly Hunter in The Slide Whistle.
This is the story of a woman who can't speak, but finds her voice through her slide whistle.
The time has come for us to make love. What do you think of me naked?
Oh man, this was Like, it's such a stupid joke, but it's funny.
Yeah.
They don't dwell on it too long.
I mean, the slide whistle, I think, very underrated as a comedy prop.
It is. You can communicate so much, as shown by this little gag here.
Excitement, disappointment, like, it's all there.
Plus, I mean, I'd watch Holly Hunter in anything. She's a very talented performer. I'd watch the slide whistle.
Hell yeah. So also, while they are out on their date, they are watching one of New York's bridges. I'm not sure which one it is, if it's the George Washington Bridge or the, I don't know, Brooklyn Bridge. No, I do not know New York.
I think there's 12 bridges in New York, according to that Chadwick Boseman movie.
Oh, that's right.
So we got a 1 in 12 chance of guessing this one right.
What was that movie called?
12 Bridges, I think.
Oh, that's right.
It was some number of I don't know how many bridges there are, but I know it was an important plot point.
Yes. So as they're watching it, the bridge basically collapses and falls into the water.
Doris then says, "Make a wish."
Yeah. But this also kind of becomes, I guess, a teaser for season 2, because when they changed the opening theme a little bit, yeah, they actually use the shot of the bridge falling into the water, except it's Alice instead of Doris.
You got to put this on TV tropes immediately. That's an incredible discovery, and I don't think I've heard it discussed anywhere.
Oh, man.
Symbolism.
I will do that and hopefully not get distracted and end up with like 30 tabs open of different tropes.
The worst is when, like, you can tell that there's one person who's a super fan of one really obscure thing and they're just shoehorning it into every page.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Over the course of them, like, getting to know each other, at one point Doris mentioned, she's like, "Yeah, I gave a kid up for adoption."
You never told me you have a son. Where is he?
I wish I knew. I had to put him up for adoption.
Really? You know, I'm adopted.
It was 36 years ago.
I'm 36.
And at this point, I'm like, what? There is no way Jay Sherman is supposed to be 36.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely have him, like, both written as and drawn older.
Yeah, well, also, isn't Homer Simpson supposed to be about 36?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I think he's like 31 because...
What?
Yes, I can't remember. There was some episode where he heard that the average male lifespan was exactly twice his current age, like down to the decimal point. It's just... well, that's going to bother me now, but I know he's a youngin'. But it's so weird to watch some of these shows from the 90s, and now that I'm, like, approaching the age of the characters or older than them in some cases.
Oh, I turned 35 this year. Like, I'm staring 36 in the face. Like, yeah. Though I guess I can say I'm hopefully going to look better at 36 than Jay does.
My gosh, yeah. It's like that line from No Country for Old Men where Tommy Lee Jones is talking about how he's older than his father ever was.
Oh, yeah.
I'm older than Joey Tribbiani ever was. What have I accomplished? 36 years old. He's accomplished a lot. I've accomplished very little.
He's he's like a world famous film critic, apparently.
He's the third best critic in New York. He has a PhD in film.
Oh yeah. He's got a 12-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
He makes he says his salary in an earlier episode. It's like $200-something thousand a year.
Oh man.
Right?
Boy, it must be nice to be Jay Sherman.
Yeah, it seems like he just has a great life.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this scene, Doris drops the fact that she gave a son up for adoption 36 years ago. So this is, I guess, sort of the plot kicking into gear here, what little plot there is. But yeah, it's like, oh my God, what if they're mother and son? So that kind of takes us into Act 3 of the episode.
If you're my mother, who's my father?
I'm not sure. It was either John F. Kennedy or this short, fat, bald guy who always took me to movies and complained about them.
Kennedy was my father? Ich bin ein Kennedy?
Oh, we also get Doris flashes back to her actually dropping off her baby at the orphanage, which is called Orphan City.
Orphan City.
Oh man.
My gosh.
Like it's Circuit City for babies.
Well, it just made me think of Spatula City from UHF.
Oh, yeah.
I'm rewatching UHF after this. I've decided.
Masterpiece. Absolute
It's
masterpiece.
incredible. It's on YouTube. You don't have to have the YouTube Premium. You can watch it free with ads.
Oh, that's awesome.
Excellent quarantine watching. Strong recommend.
You know, yeah, that reminds me. I actually did on just one of these days where I was totally bored and nothing to do, I found YouTube just has a bunch of movies that are free to watch.
Yeah, I don't know when they added it. They didn't really do any fanfare or anything. Maybe they'll give you a sponsorship after this episode.
Oh no, we are # not sponsored.
Nice. Very punk rock.
Yeah. I've mentioned a few times that if you want to watch The Critic, but you don't have it on DVD, it's on Crackle. So you can watch it there for free, but we're # not sponsored by Crackle. But yeah, tons of free entertainment out there.
Would you accept a sponsorship from Crackle the chocolate bar?
Ooh, oh my God. That's the one with all the little Rice Krispies in it.
The crunchy ones, yeah.
Oh, I would accept payment in chocolate. I think they would be able to get me that way.
Yup.
Just one more thing on the subject of free entertainment that Jupiter Bordeaux, who I also know through the Pack Theater, alerted me to this thing called Pluto.tv.
I've heard of this. What's Pluto.tv?
It's basically just this website that has a bunch of streaming content, like a bunch of random movies and TV shows. They sort of structure it almost like it's a cable channel. Like you can switch channels and you can see their schedule in blocks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, in my little bit of perusing, I found they had a channel that was just showing Degrassi, The Next Generation, 24/7.
Oh my goodness. Drake Origins.
So yeah, go relive the days when Drake was known as Wheelchair Jimmy.
Oh my goodness.
So again, that is Pluto.tv, # not sponsored. God, I totally forgot where we were again.
Oh, they're going to dinner with Jay's family.
Oh yeah,
because the doorman he greets him as adopted Mr. Sherman.
Yes.
Which I like to imagine he does that every time, not just the day when they come to talk about his adoption.
Oh yeah, no, the butler just loves to just torment Jay at every opportunity. But yeah, so Jay brings Doris to meet his parents and Margot.
You know what? Not enough Franklin in this episode.
No.
I mean, he's even when he's there, he gets a couple of funny lines, but he's very chill. They switched him to an indica dominant strain or something for this episode. He's very easygoing. He confuses Jay with a chair at one point.
Hey, Dad, I was wondering if you could tell me about the day I was adopted.
Oh, I remember it well. You had the cutest little arms and legs and a detachable headrest. Oh, no, wait, that was the day we picked out this chair.
I mean, aside from that, he's not nearly as outlandish as he normally is.
Yeah, later when they flash back to Margot's birth, because Eleanor says to Doris, don't you dare claim this one. I remember when she was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, Franklin is just sort of there. I mean, he has a drink in his hand.
He's drunk off his ass, but he's, again, still pretty chill.
Yeah. Yeah, I expected more of a Franklin flashback where we're going to go to a crazy cartoon world or something, but
Franklin at the orphanage.
Yeah.
It's
oh
right
my God,
there
right?
At Orphan City. But I mean, that's not really the biggest complaint, because one of the strengths of this episode is how clear and simple it is. So
yeah, I
guess in retrospect, I could see why they maybe cut some of his wackier gags and saved him from future episodes.
I'm just imagining in Franklin's mind, a stork comes and delivers the baby, and then another stork comes and delivers him a drink.
Yes. Oh man, that's a solid joke.
I'll save
that.
Need to
hire you for the Critic reboot.
Yeah, I'll save that for if I write a Critic spec episode.
Oh my gosh, Jay Sherman in quarantine.
Oh shit. Yeah, how many do you think we're gonna get? A lot of quarantine episodes of different shows?
I don't know. Because I feel like a lot are gonna get written, but not a lot are gonna get made.
Yeah,
I don't think people are going to want to watch a lot of it.
Yeah, like that's probably the risk, right? Like no one wants to be reminded of how.
Like if any of them are successful, I feel like they'll be very successful, but I feel like it's a very go big or go home risk.
Yeah. I mean, in like 5 to 10 years, there probably will be an Oscar-winning movie about this period.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Dr. Fauci biopic.
Yeah, but I don't need to see the This Is Us episode about COVID-19.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm just imagining a This Is Us episode. It's set in quarantine. It's just a Zoom screen of 9 people all crying.
God. Is that show still on? I was just reaching for like a current TV show.
It is still on. I mean, I love the sleazy soap opera-y stuff, but it's too much. It's too much emotion in one episode. I love Sterling K. Brown, but I can't deal with it.
They really just tug on the heartstrings a whole lot on that show.
Yes. It's just the constant melodrama.
But luckily we get none of that on the Critic.
Nope.
So yeah, this whole scene at the parents' place doesn't really doesn't really move the plot forward at all. It's just kind of a fun little diversion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, oh, these guys are still here too.
Yeah.
Remember Jay's parents?
Gotta check in with Eleanor and Franklin at least once.
Yep.
So they go from there they go back to the orphanage, Orphan City.
Oh yeah, and wasn't it like there's a banner up saying they're like having...
Yes, that they lost their lease. Everyone must go.
Everyone must go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw that and I just felt bad for like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
But classic banner gag.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you watch BoJack Horseman, but...
I was about to mention that. BoJack owes so much to the Critic.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly, it's kind of a hot take. I think I prefer the Critic to BoJack just for rewatchability. I think BoJack Horseman is an excellent work of art that I can't really watch casually without getting all bummed out.
Yeah, like it's almost like the This Is Us version of the Critic.
BoJack Horseman is This Is Us for Los Angeles people.
Yes,
My
definitely,
gosh.
definitely.
I've had an epiphany.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Man, now I'm trying to think of a This Is Us reference that won't give away spoilers, but I then realized that the overlap of people who watch This Is Us and people who listen to podcasts about the Critic is very big. So,
yeah, I think you're safe.
Yeah, you're good.
So at the orphanage, Jay talks to the priest because, of course, it's going to be like a Irish Catholic priest that runs the orphanage.
Yeah.
Who says Jay gets 3 questions, which kind of
he then confuses for wishes and like tries to be taller.
Kind of a weird plot contrivance. He just gets 3 questions, but whatever. But
weirder things have happened on this show.
No, that's definitely true.
Well, there is something I've always wondered. Am I Jewish?
Now, what do you think?
I knew it!
Idle, diddle, diddle, idle, diddle, diddle, malachem, meekin, lachem, spluckus.
So I have to mention I've recorded these episodes a bit out of order. I've already recorded the one for episode 8, Marathon Mensch, and in that episode I was like, do you think that the title is maybe kind of a clue that Jay might be Jewish?
Oh my goodness.
So that's going to be a little embarrassing next week, but
you know what? Just flip-flop them around. Say it's in memento order.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We'll just, we'll go in memento / Benjamin Button order. But yeah, it is confirmed Jay is definitely Jewish. So question answered.
Well, confirmed question mark, because he does just say, "What do you think?" Which is also a really cheap cop-out for if you only get 3 questions. If you only get 3 questions and they respond with another question, you should get a 4th question.
Oh,
That's how that should work. Science.
Do you think you can ask for more questions?
You know what? What are they going to do? Say no?
Yeah,
that would suck. Then you're down a question.
Yeah.
I haven't thought this through. I'll set up a change.org petition later.
Oh yeah, I'll sign that. But I won't donate
That's right. We only take Bitcoin.
All right, so after the orphanage, they go to get a blood test done.
Oh,
Jay
yes.
says it's the only way they can know for sure.
Oh, I was going to say, Jay gets diagnosed with chronic obesity and a pear-shaped figure.
Mhm.
And then they like immediately cut to him as a pear.
Yeah.
And man, the quarantine's getting to me because all I could think of is, oh my gosh, a fresh pear right now. Oh, man.
I also love that the nurse calls him Mr. Bartlett.
Yes. Oh, man. It's a good pear joke.
Yeah. So then, we're almost to the end of the episode here. We just got these last few scenes. Basically, we're back at the show. So we're in the green room. Yeah, I thought this was maybe the sweetest moment. Jay brings Doris
her 36 Mother's Day cards, one for every year he's missed. How
Aw.
cute is that? He totally got that off of Pinterest or something. There's no way Jay thought of that on his own, but I appreciate the effort. So cute.
Yeah. Again, the show never got this precious or this sweet after this, I don't think.
Mhm.
I mean, they go there a little bit with Alice because they try to make like him,
They soften him up a bit.
Yeah, and they try to make her and Jay they try to get some real romance in there, I think. But yeah, for just pure like wholesomeness, this is the episode, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, they don't even dwell on that card moment either. It's just he just kind of hands it off to her, and then it just sets up the next joke. And I would think that that almost makes it kind of more, makes it sweeter, makes it more powerful. Again, excellent writing on this show.
Totally. So then Duke comes in. This is like the only
18 minutes into the episode, we finally get some Duke Phillips.
I know, yeah. This is like the only Duke we get, but Duke is gonna do what Duke does, and he tells Jay he has to give the Dirty Dozen remake a good review because he says he got Saddam Hussein to play himself.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Duke Phillips just casually admits to committing war crimes in this episode.
Yeah.
Probably in a couple other episodes, man. This guy's lived a life.
Yeah, so he gave Saddam Tomahawk missiles, which he also gave to Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Yo, Maria, check this out. No deposit, no return.
Oh, I was so glad we got some Arnold jokes in here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like it made me want to load up one of those old Schwarzenegger soundboards.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Hello.
I'm Detective John
Who
Kimball.
are you?
Oh no. Yeah.
Put the cookie down.
Classic prank phone calls from back in the day.
Ah, my youth.
Oh yeah, so when Jay refuses, first Duke tries to blackmail Jay with footage of him in the shower eating a pie.
When the moon hits your eye like a big apple pie, that's amore.
And singing to the pie while he
Yes.
eats. I mean, man, like eating anything in the shower is probably going to be messy, but a hot apple pie is like top 5 messiest possible.
Yeah.
Like, what is the drain situation like after that?
Ugh.
It's going to congeal.
You're gonna need a lot of Drano.
Ugh. Shame on you, Jay Sherman. Jay Sherman is canceled.
I've never eaten in the shower. I have had a shower beer before.
Shower beer is supposed to be good. I'm not a beer person, so I can't really say for myself, but I've heard it's refreshing.
I wouldn't recommend it, ultimately.
I feel like it would get soapy. Would water not get in the beer bottle?
Oh yeah, you gotta be really careful.
Too much work.
Hopefully you can rest it on like the little like soap dish, if the soap dish is in a good enough position, if it's out of the...
And if you're not already drunk off of the beer you're drinking in the shower.
Yeah, you gotta be in kind of a low place if you're having a shower beer, I think.
Seems like a one-way ticket to Disasterville, which I think is where Orphan City is.
Yeah, I think that, well, you know, they're both zoned for the same area.
The sad district.
Yeah, the sad... Why would they build that, the sad district? But I guess they got
good schools.
Oh, yeah. All the private Catholic schools are right in the middle of sad district.
Nobody has any friends, so plenty of time to study. So yeah, Duke's got his basically the Expendables. And he's like, Jay, you got to give it a good review.
They kind of predicted the Expendables.
That must have been what I was thinking about. They predicted the Hunchback, and they predicted the Expendables. And I think later on, Jay says that he has a virus that only certain animals can get. So I think they might have predicted the corona.
Well, he says he has a virus that only pigs can get. So swine flu, I guess?
He predicted swine flu. Okay, I'm going to set up one of those cork boards with like evidence and red strings of yarn.
Like a Pepe Sylvia kind of thing.
I'm going to figure this out. Jay Sherman is Nostradamus.
Yes. So I guess as a last minute desperate maneuver, Duke kind of threatens to fire Doris after she kind of sasses him back. And so Jay does the noble thing. He agrees to give it a good review if Doris can still work there. So good for Jay. He's, you know, he's got a good heart when it counts.
2.5 stars seems, I mean, for him, because like, isn't a 7 out of 10 his best review he's ever given? So that seems pretty solid. What is the rating system on this guy's show?
Yeah, because we've also got the thermometer. Like 2.5 stars would be like what, like 50 degrees?
Oh my gosh. I don't think Wolfram Alpha has this in their calculations, but
there should totally be a Wolfram Alpha thermometer.
Oh, they should. Don't have it? What a Duke-tastrophe.
I think I've noticed you really love that line.
I love it. He's just... Duke Phillips is the most quotable character on this show. Like, every time the critic comes up, it's really hard for me to not, like, drop that line about him worshiping Pan, the goat god, or how pigeons are attracted to the sound of his voice. Just...
Oh, yeah. That's
such wonderful specifics.
The giant talking Duke statue.
Yes. What a legend.
So yeah, after Jay saves Doris's job, they go on one last little outing into the park.
Oh, we missed something very important. At one point during that conversation, Jay receives a letter.
Oh shoot, you're right. I completely skipped this part. Yeah,
it's the test results.
They get the test results back, and not a match. They are not related.
And it's sad, but then they have a nice little moment about how, you know, they can still choose to be there for each other. You know, sort of a sweet little chosen family kind of moment.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends with him crashing into a horse scout.
Into a carriage.
It won't be a stylish marriage.
Watch out for that carriage.
That's not the lyric. Ow.
Yeah, and they'd even do the classic, like the little black circle zooming in on his face or closing in on his face.
It's so Looney Tunes.
I don't know what the technical name for that is. Like,
yeah, it's like, I know it's like, it's not an iris out, I don't think.
It might be an iris, like just an iris to black, possibly. Yeah.
I took Intro to Film Studies about 10 years ago, so I'm very confident in that answer.
I'm a professional film editor. I've used irises on actual things.
Well, I also took a 100 level Intro to Film Studies class, so I think I know what I'm talking about.
All right, I will cede to the expert in the room. Or not in the room, but, you know, in the Zoom conversation.
Oh, in the Zoom, it even rhymes.
Oh, yeah, in the Zoom, yeah.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, so that brings the episode to a close. I guess we just have the last little... We get the ending gag with the usher coming in after the credits, and...
Oh, is this the "But I Have No Place to Go" one?
Yeah.
Or is this a different episode?
No, he says, "I have nowhere to go." So it's one of those ones.
It's a solid joke.
Yeah. I think my favorite is probably... Oh, you know what? No, so in season one of the other ones that gets recycled is Jay says, "Get away, zit face." But then in season 2, during some of the credits, instead of Jay watching the movie, it's him and Alice making out.
Aww.
And then when the usher comes in, Alice says, "Get away, pipsqueak." And Jay's like, "That's why I love her."
Adorable.
That's my favorite ending credits gag.
That is a cute one.
Yeah. Cool. I think we did a pretty thorough job on this episode. Was there anything we missed that you wanted to make sure we mentioned here?
I mean, not to my knowledge. It's a pretty straightforward, simple episode. I think it's a very good episode to show somebody, to introduce them to the show.
Okay.
Because even though it's not the funniest or like the most representative, I think it does a really good job of establishing all of the main characters. Even the ones who like aren't in the episode that much, like his parents, it's still, well, I guess Margot doesn't really get anything to do this episode.
Yeah. And if you have friends who like are huge fans of like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or just musicals in general, this would be a good one.
Yes.
Because we get Hunch the musical.
Yeah, it's a great fake musical. There's been a lot of bad fake musicals in TV shows.
Yeah.
This one's solid.
Oh, I think I wanted to mention just that Hunch also just kind of reminded me of the Planet of the Apes musical from The Simpsons.
Oh, yes. Oh, another classic lampooning.
Yeah. I don't think they say that the Planet of the Apes one is by Andrew Lloyd Webber, but it definitely has that vibe.
It's inspired at the very least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that about does it. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining me on this episode and going through The Critic with me.
Hey, thanks for having me here. I will look for any excuse to rewatch this show. I love it.
Awesome.
If I don't watch UHF tonight, I'm probably going to watch the rest of the episodes because I have this series on DVD.
Heck yeah. That's been the interesting thing about doing this podcast is learning how many of my friends own this on DVD.
Yeah, I feel like it must have been like on sale for $7.99 at Spencer's at some point in like the late 2000s.
Yeah,
everybody has it.
This poor forgotten show, like, yeah, so now it's ended up on Crackle where you can just watch it for free. Like they're not even charging for it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a great show. It's influenced probably a lot of super popular shows today. So I would definitely recommend checking it out if you want to get involved in TV writing in any capacity. It's a great example to learn from.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So Chelsea, anything you want to plug or do you want to let people know where they can find you on social media? Anything like that?
My Twitter account is at CHELCXTIAN, Chelsea Christian, spelled in a license plate way. I got nothing to plug right now. Just stay safe. Stay home if you can.
I'll just throw in one more plug for Lockjaw the dog on Instagram.
Lockjaw the dog on Instagram. Or his brother, Good Baby Boy on Instagram. Boy is spelled with an I.
Nice.
He's a good boy.
All right. Well, that'll about do it for us. Thanks again, Chelsea, for being my guest on this episode. And I hope
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And I hope you all will join me on the next episode of It Stinks, the Critic podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode of It Stinks, the Critic podcast. I'm your host, Brian Rubinow. Our theme song is by Brandon Beck. You can email the podcast at itstinkspod@gmail.com and find us on Twitter and Instagram at itstinkspod.